and welcome. It's 3:10 to left, leaving the tracks on Gate A. Tom Caron from Nesson, along with Alex Speier, the Boston Globe. Green confetti, blizzard of it, covering the city as the Celtics win banner 18. Alex, always great to see a championship back in. I mean, it's been 5+ years. How long do we have to wait? I mean, it's about time.
I mean, my 4-year-old felt like he had really missed out on. My 10-year-old felt like he had really missed out in that he didn't have like significant memories from the Red Sox winning when he was 4, or the Patriots winning when he was 4. So this is a milestone in the lives of many in the 8 to 10-year-old demographic, I guess.
Well, my 24-year-old made it clear that he had not experienced the joy of staying up till 4 a.m. after a championship. So there's a whole generation of young adults who got to enjoy this in ways they never had before. So.
Yeah, and I don't want to make light of it. Like, it was cool. Like, my 10-year-old, like, stayed up until 11 o'clock. He made it to the end of the game and fought to do so because he really wanted to experience that. And so, he got that. And so I went out at, midnight to Dick's Sporting Goods so that when he woke up...
Did you do it?
I did. So that he would have the T-shirt waiting for him when he woke up in the morning. And, just kind of, it's a special thing, and it's good for people like us. Sometimes, I am detached journalist guy, right? Like I am, right. I have no vested interest in the success or failure of the teams that I cover in many respects. But so it's great to be able to see that palpable joy of those who are around you to remind you of why sports matter, what they can do for people.
We are way off script, but this is my moment to thank Josh Beckett. And I want to thank Josh Beckett because in 2011, before Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Vancouver, Josh Beckett pitched a game that was under 2.5 hours, which was pre-pitch clock, which was unheard of. I managed to be home for second period faceoff to watch Game 7 with my 2 sons. And we as a group ran out to Dick's Sporting Goods at midnight. To celebrate the cup. So those are very cool moments. They really, and it's what this is all about, right? Which makes the transition to the Red Sox are in Cincinnati for the weekend so much easier. Because that same electrifying, pulse-pounding excitement you've enjoyed watching the NBA Finals will be on display in Cincinnati. I forget Cincinnati exists. I'm not lying. And I don't want to go on a rant. I'm sure it's a wonderful place. I've never been. It's one of the few ballparks I've never been to. I've never been to the city. I asked Liam Hendricks the other day because he's going on all the games, right? I said, are you going to be in Cincinnati? He's like, I got this rehab stuff that I really got to get to here. So keep the people of Cincinnati in your hearts this weekend.
Well, I will point out that the most electrifying World Series of all time was between the Red Sox and Reds in Cincinnati. I actually just read Charlie Hustle, which does an incredible job of going into detail on the 1975 World Series and kind of what a kind of tentpole sporting event that was. I believe that it was maybe remains the most watched baseball game of all time. And just a ratings bonanza throughout the course of that whole series. But I have been to Cincinnati a few times. I went for the All-Star game. I went to Riverfront Stadium once. I went back in 2022, and I have explored the city to some degree. They have a wonderful zoo there. Fritz and Fiona the hippos. The baby hippos are social media phenomena that the aforementioned 10-year-old made me go to the Cincinnati Zoo when I was there in 22 in order to visit the hippos and take pictures for him. But I also fed a giraffe while I was there, which was very exciting. Let's see if you can see.
Oh, that is so cool.
That is a giraffe's disgusting tongue, and so that's my fond memories of Cincinnati.
2 things there. One, I was your son in 1975, right? I got to stay up late and watch the Fisk home run live and brag about it as a bleary-eyed seventh grader the next day when I got back to Holy Cross Middle School, and that was obviously as a kid so exciting. That World Series was just much like '04 was, right? It was the nightly drama of the highs and lows and the wins and losses, the interference call, the Ed Armbruster interference call, the Fisk game. There were just tremendous moments of drama in that World Series. The other thing I always think of when I think about Cincinnati was being with Bronson Arroyo the day he was traded there for Willie Mo Pena. And I remember Bronson Arroyo, and he became a legend and said, I probably shouldn't tell this story. But he said the first thing, but basically what he said was the first thing that popped in my mind when I heard I was going to Cincinnati was seagulls. All I think of seeing is seagulls. They swarm around the river. And then, of course, he went on to absolutely love the city. So that tells you everything about the city and the people of Cincinnati. And Kevin Youkilis would absolutely kill us both if he heard us disparaging the city of Cincinnati. So, but you know what?
Disparage it. That's all on you, Tom.
That's all on me. And I did not discourage it. I just told you it's a black hole in my geographical expertise. I know nothing about Cincinnati. We have to go and make it a trip. Okay. I've been to a lot of places in Ohio, just not Cincinnati. It does, however, speak to this stretch here, right? Where you are playing teams with sub 500 records and still in the somewhat afterglow, the fading afterglow of taking 2 out of 3 from the Phillies and the Yankees and sort of maybe reawakening Fenway Park a little bit. There was a lot of buzz Sunday night, I thought, in that game. Couldn't hear it while Tristan Casas was doing his monologue, but watching the game on ESPN, you can certainly see it. But these, now you have to go fatten your record, right? If you want people to buy into this, the Celtics season is over. The parade is over. Now you need to go on a 2-week stretch where you're winning 2 out of 3 games regularly. I think that's what it will take to get people to buy in.
Yeah, well, I think what the Red Sox have done well this year is to beat teams that were at or below 500, and so now they've finally had this breakthrough week against the Phillies and the Yankees. That I think that's the perception alterer, right? Like that's okay. This is a group that you can see the trend lines moving up. And they're starting to accomplish things that they hadn't already in the context of the season. So that all is kind of wasted away if they don't continue to do the things that they've been doing well, right? They have to be operating successfully on both fronts, but particularly continuing to make hay against the teams, against the vast middle of baseball. And the Reds are there, right? Like that's where the Reds are. They're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, there are a lot of parallels between how the Reds play and how the Red Sox do in terms of we are going to see, strangely enough, for two teams that have been renowned for slugging and for like a lack of athleticism over the years, we are going to see a lot of, good luck catchers. They're going to be remaining very busy in terms of their throws around the infield. But yes, to build on that. If they do, then I think you're right. Like the energy inside of Fenway Park was clearly greater than it had been in quite a while over the course of really the last week, because the dynamic during Red Sox Phillies was also pretty exciting. Fenway.
No doubt about that. And the man in charge of it all is our guest this week, Alex Cora, manager of the Red Sox. Finally scheduling him on the show. As soon as this came out, he started talking about it. He also was asking what we pay, what the appearance fee is, and it's absolutely nothing. And we doubled that for him because he's manager of the Red Sox. So that's how impressed we were to get him on the show. But I want to talk to him about the Celtics winning, his connections with them, mental health, right, Alex? Because he's been very upfront about what he has done to sort of treat and take care of himself better in the high pressure position as manager of the Red Sox, take care of his team, and ultimately what this team's about. But I think the mental health part of it is a really interesting topic to dive into with him.
Yeah, I think that so much of what we've, of the way that we're viewing this team is kind of, it is such a young team that there's both individually and collectively, the dynamics surrounding it are just different. And I think that we've discussed it with a lot of the individual players. When we talked to Trevor Story last week, he talked about the difficulty of navigating injury and the question of identity, and when you are not able to play baseball. We've heard Jaron Duran talk openly about how much he was really beating himself up over the course of his struggles in 2021 and 2022, to a lesser degree in 2023, and how much that would drag on his performance. Obviously, we've seen Chris Martin going on the injured list with anxiety issues. So I think that we're coming to understand a lot, or at least appreciate more, the relationship between mental health on the part of players and sports teams and in their performance. And I think that Alex Cora has been keenly aware of that, very attuned to that conversation, and has, in very interesting ways, been furthering it as the manager during his daily press sessions, not kind of separating out the mental side of life from what his players are doing, but instead really making clear an understanding of how those two things interact.
Well, let's hear more from him. Let's get right to it. Without further ado, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, Alex Cora, the guest on this edition of 310 to Left. All right, we are joined by the manager of the Red Sox, Alex Cora, on a championship parade day. AC, I always use the story. I was covering a parade one year. I think it was the 2017 Patriots. And you go out early, right, in TV, you're set up and you're waiting. And this family walks by, and I hear this kid say to his parents, "Let's go stand where we always stand for these parades." And I'm like, dude, you got a usual place to hang out for championship parades. Go tell people in Cleveland, right, that you've got a place to hang out. What's it like being part of this? You've been in the parades as a player, as a manager. This incredible run over the last 20, 25 years that Boston's been on. What's it been like to be part of it?
It's been great. And obviously, '07, being a player meant a lot. 18, that was amazing. But there's something about this city that it makes it special, man. I always tell people. I remember in '08, I was rooting for the Lakers because I played with the Dodgers, and we were there for 6 years, and little by little, you start cheering for your teammates, right? Because they're our teammates, right? And there's some great people running these organizations. There's trust between all of us, right? We help each other out, and I think the fans make it more special. Just the passion that they show. I said it in November of 2017. The closest thing to what we leave back home in our sport is Boston. It's 24/7. Either you like it or not. The best city in sports, and the passion that they show on a daily basis. We appreciate that, and it was a great night last night. Just watching the videos, Sweet Caroline. It was great, and looking forward, to see the videos for the parade on Friday, and hopefully it gets contagious, right? And we can do our thing.
There's also, we talk a lot about the brotherhood of athletes in a town, but there's also brotherhood of the coaches, the managers, right? You knew Brad pretty well when he was coaching the team, stayed close with him as he's put this team together. You've got to know Joe. Talk a little about that relationship and what it's been like to watch them complete the mission, right? This was the team that went into the year expected to win it all, and it's not always easy to live up to those expectations, and they did.
That's hard to do, man. When the only goal and the only thing you expect is to win a championship and to do it, is very gratifying. We've been in touch throughout the season. Was part of one of their coaches' seminars. I took our coaching staff to the Celtics facility right before winter weekend. It was a great experience for our guys just to see how they develop players, and then we are in a season that we're trying to win as many games, and we're developing players, and we learn a lot from Joe and his staff. Brad, I mean, he's been great. The story, what he's all about. He's a basketball savant. He's very smart, very bright. A guy that is, he keeps it simple, and that's what I like about him. He's very genuine. He doesn't have all the answers, but he'll reach out to people and try to make it as as clean and perfect as possible. And what he did with this roster, it was amazing. Going into the season, for those who follow basketball and follow the Celtics, it was a master class of running an organization. And this is just the beginning, to be honest with you. I do believe this team and the culture that they have is one of those that you expect them to win probably two more in the next 4 years, right? And they're really good at what they do. The two kids, they're men now, not only with the way they go about their business, but physically they're becoming monsters. And when you get that taste, you want more. And I think Hartford said it best. They weren't hungry, they were starving. But now, you just got to continue to strive for greatness, and they will.
Alex, one of the things that was really interesting for me to think about as it related during the finals, as it related to you guys, was the fact that the Mavericks have a member of the organization who you're very familiar with in Donnie Cockstein. Don Cockstein was the director of mental skills for the Red Sox when you were a player, and he is currently the director of mental skills for the Mavericks. And the reason why I was thinking about that was because there's been a lot of discussion about mental health and playing environment, much more so now than I think when I was covering you as a player, when you were getting to know Don Cockstein. So I guess when you think about the environment, like the mental health environment, how prominent a consideration that is now compared to when you got to know Don Cockstein, back in 2007 when he was a part of another great championship team. What strikes you in comparing those two times in the sporting landscape?
Yeah, I think organizations that are doing an outstanding job, giving the players the tools to be better, right? And this is not only in the training room, in the weight room, training environments, but it's in the mental side of it. Um, I learn a lot from the mental aspect of the game because of my brother. He had his own life coach while he was playing. Jim Phantom, who worked with Alex Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, and a number of elite athletes. So I had a pretty good idea, what you needed to do to stay in the moment and to kind of like express what you needed to express, to be ready to go to battle and to go through life. Donnie for us in '07 helped us with structure. He helped our pitching staff to develop. We all talk about Josh and the pitching staff, but I think he did an outstanding job uh, taking care of Pat, and just helping in every aspect, not only on the field but off the field. And nowadays, organizations are spending a lot of money the right way, taking care of players, not only at the big league level, but it starts, in the Dominican Summer League, in the academy in Fort Myers with the young kids, and then players now they have all the tools. I think players now are willing to talk about their problems, and we're in a good spot. I think society has opened up for all of this, and we are in a better place because of the willingness of us to help people, and also the willingness to the people to express their problems. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that was such a striking aspect of when Chris Martin went on the injured list with anxiety. First, that it was striking that this was an explicit reason for going on the injured list, and something that you understand to be, first of all, intrinsically incredibly important for the well-being of a person you care about, but also a critical element of his performance. Right? He talked about the physical toll that the anxiety was taking on him, but it was also it was also very honestly moving that you spoke in a very direct fashion about your own experience with mental health as a player. And it felt like, it felt like you during your own playing career did not feel like you could necessarily have that kind of a candid that candid acknowledgement of, of off the field things that would affect performance and affect your life. How different is that aspect of things for you on both a personal level and in terms of what you're seeing, and in terms of what you're seeing with players now?
No, the players they're doing an outstanding job with this, and it's not that we're gonna hide injuries, right? And but you know, Chris have been having problems with his left shoulder, right? We could have said, he's going to the IL because of his left shoulder, and that's true. But he was very open about it. Like he didn't want to hide it, And I think when guys are in this stage, right, in this platform, I always talk about the power of the platform, right? And Chris expressing, uh, his quote unquote problem, probably help somebody out there, right? And probably made somebody better, or made somebody to look for a way to solve their problems, right? And I'm very proud of him. In my particular case, man, honestly, and you guys see it, um, there's a transformation, man. My last 7 months have been amazing. Have been amazing. Sometimes I sit here and like, wow, this is awesome. Like when they ask me how you doing, I say I'm happy and healthy, which wasn't the case last year. Last year was very tough for me, not only mentally, emotionally, but physically too. And we went through a lot. As a player, I went through a lot right around 2000, no, 99, 1999. It was tough, man. It was tough, not only for me on the field, but off the field, for my family. And little by little, I learned to overcome a lot, and the structure of my family has changed, obviously. But at the same time, my ex-wife Nilda have done an amazing job keeping the family together, right? In the sense that Camila, she's a great woman. Jerry L, he's a great man, and we know our situation, but we try to do our best to be the best parents that we can, right? And we have done an amazing job. Angelica and the boys have been amazing for me. There's such joy in life now, and I think it's more about me accepting who I am, me accepting my situation, not only on the field professionally, but as a man. And the way I see it, man, I have this unique platform to impact people, and I'm not bullshitting people when I open up. I'm trying to be as honest as possible. I've been very honest with you guys lately, right? Talking about the game situations, off the field stuff, and I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, whatever it is, and I feel very comfortable now opening up about how I feel, where I'm at, and hopefully people appreciate that, and I'm making others better because of the way I'm going about my life now.
AC, running has been a big part of that for you, right? You've sort of jumped in with Angelica, the training. She's the machine. You're the gazelle. I understand. Okay, you go, short and fast. She can go a lot longer. But I mean, you really got into it. Like I watch every day you post your runs, and after a while, you got 8-9 miles, 8-minute miles. Like, first of all, baseball players don't run. Like you talk to baseball players, they do sprints, right? It's 90 feet. It's whatever across the field. All of a sudden, you're out there running distance. What did it come to you that quickly, or did you have to grind through the beginning? And then what has it done for you mentally?
Yeah, it started September 22nd last year, and I still have it on the app. It was 1.36 miles, and it was intervals. Walk for a minute and a half and run for a minute, bro. And I was toast after it. I was like, man, this is awful. And little by little, the app actually took me from the couch to 5K. That was the goal. And then we decided that Angelica was going to run the marathon, and she started training on Saturdays back home. They started running the long ones, right? It was 7 miles, 10 miles. Um Opening weekend in Seattle was 17 miles. We went to Anaheim, 15 miles. And the way I put it, man, TC and Alex, there's certain times in spring training that we were running. We had this running club, uh, Cronin, Fatsy, Abe's, and Marissa, one of the trainers. We will be up at 5 in the morning and run, and I'll be out there and kind of like thinking about the season. There's this little voice when you're going long distance, right? I remember my first half marathon. It was in Fort Myers. When I got to mile 10, kind of like the voice was like, stop, stop, stop. And Apes was right next to me. It's like, go, 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 and the support system. And sometimes I compare the runs to the grind of the season. Like there's going to be days that you don't feel right. And you go out there and you got to find a way. And so far it's been good. We try to run at least 5 in every city. The other thing too, man, I played in the big leagues for 13 years, and I can tell you that I didn't enjoy the cities that I played, right? And on the road, it was kind of like hotel to the stadium to a bar or to a restaurant, right? And now we go to San Francisco and we run into the pier. In Seattle, the same thing. St. Louis, running to the streets around there. And, it's been fun. It's been great. Uh, it's something that is life changing. And I joke with people, the marathon, yeah, I would love to. When? We don't know. We don't know. It can be next year or it can be in 10 years, or whatever. But that's a goal of mine. And my hat off to all the marathoners out there. What you guys do is amazing. And it's been great. It's been very gratifying.
It's funny, I've run for a long time and I run on the road, but now with the watch and the apps, it's easy, right? I used to go get lost in cities, and there's nothing worse than like some sweaty old sportscaster running up to a convenience store saying, "How the hell do I get back to the Metrodome?" Because I'm completely lost in Minneapolis. But I did want to bring it to the medal, right? You and Pete both ran the 5K at the BAA, and those medals have become the home run celebration. And I just think that's really cool because, a lot of these things are kind of staged with teams now. You get Little Caesars sponsoring one of the. I mean, but you guys, it's a very organic thing, right? And it's got to feel pretty cool that that's something you and Pete earned, and now it's being celebrated by the team.
Yeah, it was just like you say, very organically. I'm like, the marathon is on Monday. We got these medals. Why not, right? Like this is one of the things that represents Boston. So we started doing it, and it's been fun. It is, like there's certain days that they forget about it. I don't know where they put it, but we've been very consistent, right? From with our celebrations, right? From the cart to the dumbbells and now the medal. At one point, we thought about making a big one, like a fake one, but no. Let's do the real one. I'm not gonna steal Angelica's one because that one really matters. The marathon one, that's real. This one, 5K, whatever. Maybe when we get the one from we're running the what is it, home to home?
Yeah, you're gonna run the home base, the home run to home base.
We're running the home base.
I've done it for the last 14 years.
Yeah, I think we're gonna run. Is it 10K? Right? We can do the.
It's
10K.
9K. It's 9K for baseball.
We're doing that one. Yeah, we're doing
I'll
that
be there.
One. We're doing that.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's gonna be hot, but we'll be ready.
It's gonna be hot. Actually, real quick, it's a funny story. My son, the first time I ran it, it was so he was like 13, and I'm sitting home that night, and my legs are kind of barking a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, that's a participation trophy, huh?" I was like, "No, man, I ran the thing." He goes, "Yeah, did you win it?" I was like, "No, I didn't win it." He goes, "Yeah, participation trophy," and he walks away. Total check on my buzz.
Well, hopefully no one will be doing the same too. Hopefully Alex, your family will be more supportive than Tom's, I guess. But kind of circling back, you mentioned the home run celebration, like which is an expression of joy on the field, right? Getting back to the question of mental health and performance and the link between the two. I mean, we've obviously referenced a lot of times Jaron Duran and his openness when he discussed how difficult the game had become for him, how difficult the expectations had been for him. I'm interested in your perspective on Jaron, how meaningful it has been, whether or not it's been meaningful, not just that he did that for himself, which was an enormous thing for any athlete to come forward and do, as we were discussing with the whole notion of openness, but how much that's impacted his teammates around him. Because I do wonder whether or not the willingness of a Chris Martin to discuss his mental health, or we had Trevor Story on last week, and he was talking about he was pretty open about some of his own struggles with injury. How much you think that Jaron coming forward in the way that he did has really had that kind of cascading impact on the lives of some of his teammates?
I don't know about impacting the life of his teammates. I can tell you from my personal experience, it impacted me and it challenged me to be better. Sometimes we take this for granted, players manager, communication, and sometimes I feel like with everything that goes on in our lives as coaches, we we will miss stuff. And him opening it up and talking about it made me realize that we are not as connected to the player as we think, right? And it challenged me to push more. Like, yeah, the clubhouse is the clubhouse, it's the players' clubhouse, but be around, talk to them, check on them. A text, a call, a message here. How's the family? Just to check. Challenge our coaches to do the same thing. Right. At the end of the day, these are our players. These are our kids. And we have to be better in a lot of aspects. So him opening it up challenge us to do that. The other thing that I know for a fact that Jaron opening it up has helped is that he paved the way not only for this group of players but for the future, right? Like, this is a guy that understands how it works in professional sports, how it works in Boston, and we can use him as an example for those who are coming to learn and understand how it works in our special town. Like Jim Rice says, it's not tough in Boston, but it's different, right? And I think him becoming that guy, that voice, is going to make this organization a lot better, especially on the field, right? Because of the expectations and the reality of where we play. So I'm proud of him. We challenge him to do a lot of things, and I think playing every day and being more vocal are two of the things that I want him to do. And so far, he's been outstanding. He should be an all-star, by the way.
I am interested in your mention of the idea that he challenged you to approach your job or think about your job a little bit differently, because, we talk at the beginning about 2007 with Don Kalkstein compared to now. But even if we just think about how the job has changed from 2018 when you came to the Red Sox compared to now, it seems like there have been some significant changes in the world and in the game. Yeah, a little bit. And part of that is, the amount of time that is available to interact between players and staff members and managers, right? It seems like, there have been a proliferation. This isn't just the Red Sox, it's across the game. The culture of constant meetings has so much information that has to be translated has kind of changed the structure of the day a little bit. How much has that been something when you talk about challenging yourself to be engaged with your players? How much of that is a reflection of changes in what the job of a manager has become?
Well, Alex, I think we have evolved as an organization. We do things probably different than others, and we keep adjusting. And I know you guys appreciate that, right? The showing up later, it helps you guys to show up later, right? To do their job in the clubhouse. We are in a stage right now that the one-on-one interaction between coaches and players is actually better than the group setting that we had 3 weeks ago, last year, in 18. It's a different group. There's a lot of teaching, a lot of conversations, a lot of guidance, right? And we went from a team that had a lot of team meetings to having less and less. Uh, we're spending less time at the ballpark, which is great, I think, for everybody. Uh, we are more efficient. And it's not that we're not giving the information to the player. Actually, like you said, there's more information, but I think we have learned how to filter the information, how to communicate the information, and it's paying off. You see guys having one-on-ones with Pete and Joe about game planning before the game, and then you have guys after the game sitting down with a coaching group, hitting group, talking about at bats throughout the day, right, throughout the game, and is refreshing, is great. Uh, I think we are in a great place now as a group. I let him know yesterday that let's keep doing the things that we're doing, but don't shy away if we have to make adjustments. And I think Kenley has been great with that. Rafi has been great with that, telling us, tomorrow less, next week more, and we have evolved. We have learned. The manager with the iPad and the laptop at the house, that's in the past, man. That's in the past. My backpack sometimes at Fenway, it sleeps at Fenway most of the time now. In the past, that wasn't the case, and I don't want to overload myself thinking too much about how we're gonna beat New York, how we're gonna beat Toronto. I got plenty of time during the day at the ballpark to prepare for what we want to do that night, and I think right now the Red Sox are in the stage that less is more, and it's been fun to be part of it, and it's fun to watch.
I see, but it's well documented that this is the last year of your contract. And one of the reasons managers and teams don't usually let it get there is because what that could do to the manager mentally, right? Leave him sort of hanging in the lurch, not knowing what the future holds. How everything we've just talked about for the last 20 minutes, how has that helped you with this year? Not let that become a thing to compartmentalize and put it away till after the season.
Family, bro, family. At the end of the day, my number one team is the Cora Felicianos. That's my number one team, and right now we are enjoying everything about this experience. We have enjoyed the city. We have enjoyed you guys. We have enjoyed the fan base for the last 5 or 6 years. You guys saw me with that trophy in LA, and you guys, well, didn't see me in Caguas down on my knees, asking for help in 2020. And you guys saw me back in 21, kind of like being almost to the top. And we are lucky to be here. I'm lucky that I work for owners that respect me, like me, love me, and they give me a chance to come back to the game that I love. And for me to be selfish is not in my DNA, right? We're in a situation here that is we're in a transition, right, with Craig. We came from 2 last place finishes, and I'm living day by day. Whatever happens in the future happens in the future, but in this case, and I hope people don't take it wrong. I'll say it again. My number one team is the Cora Felicianos, and if that team is in a good place, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
So along those lines, thinking about the number two team, the how much do you love managing with this style of play? Like, it's cool, right? Like, you are, the way that you're managing a team is very, and that you're, I think that everyone would I think there's a pretty good consensus that you are getting a lot of your players to perform at exceptional levels, right? Like, you're seeing a lot of guys growing on the field, but you're also, as a team, kind of creating a style of play that's different than what you used in 18 to achieve that incredible success, or that's different than 21 when you also had that when you also had the joy of that, like, almost fully fulfilling ride. How much do you love managing the 2024 Red Sox in the way that you guys are playing, or do you? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I do, I do, and it feels
that on a nightly basis we're going to see something special, right? Running the bases defensively, on the mound, in the batter's box, and the way they're going about their business is very very gratifying. They prepare, they look for stuff, and they execute. Kudos to the coaching staff. They've been great. We have embraced this player development thing at the big league level, and we have crushed it. We've been really good about it. You see the attention to details on the defensive side of it. You see the improvement. I mean, let's talk about like Jaron, man. Like that game against Toronto a few years ago when Tapia hit the fly ball and he lost it. He lost it and he didn't go for it. It was a grand slam. And then the game in Kansas City, he doesn't make two plays, and now he's one of the best defensive outfielders in the big leagues, man. And Huddy has been amazing. Will Venable was great for him. We talk about Valdi, right? Valdi, he's becoming a very, average defensive second baseman at second base, right? And Andy Fox has been great. Ramon Vasquez has been great, but Carlos Febles was great to him, And I always said that we split this in three eras, right? Dave and Chaim and now Bress. I just put everything together, man, because what Dave did for us was amazing. Chaim did an outstanding job for us, and Craig is doing an outstanding job. The coaching staff, from Timmy Hires to Dana to Bales to Bushy, they all have an input in what is going on. They're part of this, and I'm very proud of our staff. You see most of them are in the big leagues, right? Goody's in Atlanta, Carlos is here in Toronto, Bushy in Texas. They're really good, and just watching these guys play is great. The most gratifying thing about this team is that for 3 straight weeks, after we're done with the team, I get a text from the opposing manager or from the front office people, and they're like, keep it going. You guys are playing the game the right way. And that's awesome, man, because of we had a quote-unquote tough off season, right? And we stick to the plan. We did a good job in spring training. We're not great, with 3 games over 500, right? But the fact that Dave Dombrowski told me the other day, you guys keep this going, you guys might make to the playoffs. I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I liked Dave a lot before he said that. Now I like him more.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're going to park the duck boat soon. They're going to sweep up the confetti, and people are going to start paying attention. So it's a good time to be playing some good ball. We don't want to keep you any longer because now we're getting into Tristan Casas' ESPN appearance time. Like it's starting to get a little too long. So I don't want to keep. We don't want to overexpose.
Well, with Tristan, he's getting a check in his mail in a week. So I don't know.
No, nothing here. That's why we're cutting it now. We go longer, we got to pay you. We're keeping you on the free list. AC, great conversation. We'll do it again. 2 short ones we don't have to pay you. 1 long one we have to pay you. So we'll do this again later in the season, okay?
That'll be great. Good luck with everything, and I respect the hell out of you guys, man. You guys do an amazing job keeping everybody informed and obviously, respecting what we do.
AC, we appreciate it. That's the great Alex Cora. We don't want you running the marathon next year. We want you managing at Fenway next year in May. Okay, let's just get that on the record. Alex Cora, we appreciate it, my friend. Thanks for joining us this time. We'll see you next time on the 310 to Left podcast.
Perfect. Thank you.